5 years. 5 years since the last Olympic Games, and finally we have the Olympics coming up. In 1 week and 1 day from when this goes out, we will be seeing the first 2 sessions of the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. As a lot of you know, I've been covering this whole qualifying period since 2017 is when I started doing this kind of coverage for Weightlifting House. A little bit more recently since I moved to YouTube, but it is time finally that I lay down some predictions for some of these sessions coming up. I'm going to go through half of the sessions today, another half next week, and we'll see how I get on in these predictions, and I'll explain why I'm making these predictions. Before I get into it, as you can all see, I have this unreal new Tokyo Japan t-shirt which we just brought out in time for this competition that's starting next week. Here's a close-up. So this is awesome. This was made by editor Alex. He did this design. Here's another color of it, and you can actually see the design a little bit better. And what it says down one of the sides, this side here, is the strongest will be remembered, and down this side, the weakest will be forgotten. And it's written in Japanese, which is kind of sick. It says weightlifting down below in Japanese. It's got the Weightlifting House up top. It's a really cool t-shirt. That is now available at weightliftinghouse.com. I'll put a link down below. Also, and this is actually really exciting, is I put up a poll on the Weightlifting House store a while ago asking you what country tees you wanted made, and we've made them, and they are also now available. So we have Great Britain, Ireland, France, Germany, Qatar, Georgia, USA, Canada, a bunch of different country t-shirts available in different colors. So go ahead and check those out on our new store. The link is down below. Here's a very quick example of the Great Britain t-shirt. It's kind of got this nice distressed faded look. They all kind of have the same style of layout. Those are all available. We've got some great deals on at weightliftinghouse.com. Okay, let's get into predictions. Now, how are we going to do this? I think there has to be some kind of structured way in which I'm deciding who's going to win or place second or third, or roughly who I think is going to do what in each category. So I think we're going to create a method. We're going to look at the top contenders in each category. We'll start by looking at their best totals during the qualifying period rather than prior to, because we need to see proximity to competition as a measure by which we can predict outcome, I suppose. And then we need to look at, during the qualification period, what direction is their progress? Is it on the up? Is it on the down? Is it pretty even keel? And then let's take a look at some Olympic records, and based off all of these things, I'll make my prediction on each of these categories. Also, for those of you who are in a rush, there are timestamps available if you just want to check out specific weight categories. Okay, let us start with the men's 61 kilo category. Current world records: 145 in the snatch, Lee Fa-bin, 174 in the clean and jerk, Eke Irawan, and 318 in the total, again, Lee Fa-bin. So there are basically there are 2 key players in this weight category who are going to be fighting over for gold. We have, obviously, from China, the world record holder in the snatch and the total, Lee Fa-bin, who was selected by China because China thinks that he can beat our next person from Indonesia, Eke Irawan, who will be competing at his, I think it's 4th Olympic Games. Both of these athletes are totally capable of winning the gold medal. Lee Fa-bin's total is 318, Eke Irawan's is 317. Lee Fa-bin has gone 145, 173. He did that in the second qualifying period. Eke Irawan has done 143, 174, but he did that in the first qualifying period. If we take a moment to look at the direction of their progress, you can see here with Lee Fa-bin, 312, 310, 18, 301, 290, 312, 311. So he's had 2 very consistent performances recently above 310 kilos, and it's going to require a plus 310 kilo total, certainly, to get the gold medal. So 312 and 311 there. If we look at Eke Irawan, he's also similarly too quite consistent. His 317 was, to be fair, in the first qualifying period, and he dropped down a bit, but in the most recent qualifying period, 309, 310. Lee Fa-bin was 311, 312. So he is 2 kilos behind Lee Fa-bin in both of those competitions. It's not a lot to go by, but, we've really got to clutch at straws if we want to make a decision between these 2 legends. The third athlete worth considering is Kim Tuan Thatch from Vietnam. He's got a 304 kilo total, 135, 169 from period 3. Now, the worry for Kim Tuan Thatch is that he seems to be somewhat trending down, not over the entire qualification system. he hit that 304 in period 3. It's the most recent period. But during this qualifying period, he's gone down a bit. In fact, most recently at the 2020 Asian Championships, which happened in 2021, he snatched 128 and then he bombed in the clean and jerk at 151 and 152, which is troubling. There are two other athletes who haven't totaled as much as him with the 304, but I think are looking more consistent. Those lifters are Yoichi Itokazu from Japan. He did 298, and he's been in the high 290s for a while. And then we have Shota Mishvalidze from Georgia, who's done 293, but at the European Championships, he did 290. So I think based on all of this, we're probably going to be looking at, if I had to say, Lee Fabin taking the gold, Eko Yuli Irawan taking the silver medal, and then in third, I'm going to make a call. I'm going to go with, I know he's got a much lower total than the others. I'm going to take a risk and say Shota Mishvalidze, just because I think the Georgians have probably got a next level peaking strategy for the Olympics. The Olympic standards, by the way, for this category, which haven't yet been broken, obviously these are standards, we'll see records once these are beaten by a kilo in each, 142, 171. So we need to see a 143 and a 172, both of which we will certainly see at this competition. Moving over now to the 67 kilo category. The world records 155 snatch Huang Minhao, 188 clean and jerk Pak Jeonju, and 339 total Chen Lijun. I love it when all three world records are held by three different people. Now, the main player that we have here, honestly, is Chen Lijun. Obviously, Huang Minhao, the snatch world record holder, and Pak Jeonju, the clean and jerk world record holder, are not here. Chen Lijun, the total world record holder, is, and he is some way ahead. So Chen Lijun's done 339 from China. He did that with a 154 and a 185. That was back in 2018 World Champs. Next, we have, with a pretty good total, Ergashev from Uzbekistan. He's done 328. That's 146, 182. He did that in 2019 Worlds. And then with the next highest total after that, we're looking at Luis Mosquera, one of the fastest lifters out there from Colombia, who's done 330, 150, 180, and he's done that twice in period 3. My prediction for this competition is Chen Lijun is going to take that gold medal, and then it's between Adkamjon Ergashev and Luis Mosquera. It's very tough to pick just purely from the consistency of Luis Mosquera. He's done 150, 180 two times in the final qualifying period, and I'm going to be honest, I think a 330 is the total that's going to be needed to get that silver. I think if you get 330, you're guaranteed a silver. I'm going to say Luis Mosquera in silver, and then Adkamjon Ergashev in bronze. The Olympic standards to beat here are 151, 181. I'd be surprised if we didn't see both a 152 and a 182. Several lifters there are capable of these numbers. In the men's 73s, the discussion doesn't particularly need to be had as to who's winning. I mean, 169 is a snatch world record. It's Shi Ziyong. 198, clean and jerk record. I've just hit the camera. One moment. There we go. Just reset that with my foot. 198, clean and jerk world record, Shi Ziyong. 363, total world record, Shi Ziyong. Now, Shi Ziyong has totaled 363 kilos 3 times. Twice in this very period. He's done 169, 194, and then he's also done 165, 198. Nobody really can touch him on those numbers. Other lifters, however, who are really in it for the silver and the bronze, I think there are probably 3, maybe 4, but probably 3 lifters fighting out the next 2 medal positions. Julio Mayora from Venezuela, he's done 349. Andreev Bozidar from Bulgaria, he's done 347. And of course, CJ Cummings from the USA, he's also done 347. Now, if we look at when they've done these, Julio Mayora did 349 in the second period. Andreev Bozidar did 347 in the third period. CJ Cummings did his 347 in the second period. So the third period, the most recent, Andreev Bozidar. Let's take a look at their history over the qualifying period. Okay, so here's CJ Cummings. We've had 344, 35, 47, 37, 33, 43, 37. He's always within a couple kilos below or above 340. We know that he's capable of probably a 156, a 195. Did do 194 in training recently. And that's going to put him at a 351 kilo total if he does that. Realistically, 350 is the total that's going to get someone the silver medal behind Shi Ziyong. So based on this performance from CJ over these last 24 months, we haven't really seen a tremendous amount of improvement in the total. But he's always often lifted, leaving a few kilos in the tank. and this happens pretty regularly with him. If we now look at Andreev Bozidar, 345, 35, 46, 61, he did that as an 81 though, 47, 34, 52, and again, he did that as an 81. So he is pretty regularly going over 340 kilos in the total, hasn't done the 350 yet, but looks in pretty good shape. Remember though, he did not win at the European Championships, he was beaten there. That's when he did the 334, that's his most recent real total, so maybe that says a little bit about Andreev Bozidar maybe not being in his best shape ever. And then finally we have Julio Mayora from Venezuela, 322, 318 in the first period, then he really improved. 49, 37, 38, 38, 38, 41, 42, 30, 30, 30. So he's very consistent with that 150, 180. He's done 3 competitions in the third qualifying period doing 150, 180. He's totaled over 340 twice in this qualifying period, in this third qualifying period, and more frequently prior to that. Now, despite the fact that he's competed substantially more times than the rest, I'm not convinced, based on his performances more recently, I'm not convinced that he's actually going to be the person that takes a medal here. I think throughout the qualifying period we saw him snatch 160 multiple times off blocks. He cleaned and jerked 200 kilos separately, which is something that we haven't seen CJ do. The difference though in my mind is that we've seen Julio Mayora push himself to max more frequently in competition than we have done CJ, and so we're not quite sure what CJ has capable of in the tank. So I'm going to make my predictions. Shiziong, gold. For the fans, because everybody watching it, 50% of you guys are US. CJ Cummings, silver. Andreev Bozidar, bronze. I don't know. That might be punching a bit, but I'm going to go for it. Let's say that. Shiziong, CJ Cummings, Andreev Bozidar, Julio Mayora, fourth. And then I'm going to say don't sleep on stanky leg Robu Marin, who just got accepted into the Olympics, and also Masanori Miyamoto, who's totaled 341, and I think he just jerked 200 kilos out of the rack, so don't sleep on either of those. The Olympic standards are 158, 190, both of which will be beaten. Maybe the 158 will only be beaten by Shiziong, but the 190 should and could be beaten by 4, potentially even 5 lifters in Tokyo. Okay, come on then, let's do this men's 81 kilo category. Everybody loves this category because it's the category of the GOAT, Liu Xiaojun. So, the world records 175, Li Dayin, who isn't there obviously because only one Chinese weightlifter can go in this category, and it's Liu Xiaojun. 207 clean and jerk, Liu Xiaojun. 378 total, Liu Xiaojun. So, Liu's best total in this qualifying period, 378. He's done 380 as a 77, but we'll ignore that. He did that with a 171, 207. Next, there's Antonino Pizzolato from Italy. He's done 370 kilos, which is absolutely enormous. He did that with a 164, 206. And he did that at the European Championships very recently. Then there's Zacharias Bonat from the Dominican Republic, who's done 368. He did a 162, 206. And then there are lifters like Brian Rodalegas from Colombia. Now, this one's a little bit tougher to do. I think Liu Xiaojun, realistically... Look, here's the thing. Of course, Liu Xiaojun could lose. Liu Xiaojun could go 3 for 6, and Antonio Pizzolato goes 6 for 6. In that situation, Liu Xiaojun's winning. Liu Xiaojun's clean and jerk isn't tremendously consistent, and we've seen Zacharias Bonat and Antonio Pizzolato hit 206 kilos in the clean and jerk pretty recently. Liu Xiaojun hasn't done those numbers in, a year at this point. But he does have a snatch which is basically unparalleled in this category, at least amongst these lifters. So I'm still going to give it to the GOAT, Liu Xiaojun. It's also worth pointing out for people who keep saying that Antonio Pizzolato is going to win, which he could, by the way, but he's probably not going to, but he could. Liu Xiaojun has out-totaled Antonio Pizzolato at every single gold event during this qualifying period. In silver, I am going to give it, I think, to Antonio Pizzolato. He looks good. He just did a 167 in competition, in a national competition. He's done mid-200s, between 200 and 210 a couple of times now. But he's also seen this remarkable spike in performance. I mean, he was always in the mid-350s, and then suddenly he hit 370. I don't think he's even done a 360. In fact, let's just take a peek. So here's Pizzolato, 356, 349, 58, 54, 55, 370. That really came out of the blue. So he's certainly capable of doing something pretty filthy. Then there's Zacharias Bonat from the Dominican Republic, and he also is looking good. In fact, in the third period, he's totaled 360 kilos or more 3 times, which is unbelievable. Now, just taking a quick peek at this 81 kilo category and see who else we have. I mean, this is an all-star lineup. Erkan Karamaj from Albania, Ali Mendez, who is now back in the Olympics, by the way. He got through his 1-month ban for smoking weed, which is good for him, I suppose. Andres Mata, Nico Mula, Ritvasu Harev. There are a whole load of other people I haven't mentioned. Harrison Maris, Rajabay Rajapov from Turkmenistan. A lot of awesome lifters. But there are just a few who I think are going to be in and amongst the medals, and these are the people. So I'm going to make my prediction. Liu Xiaojun gold, Antonino Pizzolato silver, Zacharias Bonat from the Dominican Republic bronze, and then Brian Rodalegas fourth. Could pip either Bonat or Pizzolato. It's a really toss-up between those three. I'm going to give it that order because Pizzolato's done the most, and I saw him attempt a 370 snatch. Well, he walked up to 370 and then the video cut, but he was like hyped, pacing back and forth, so he clearly attempted a 170 snatch, sorry, not 370. I'm going to say that. Liu Xiaojun, Pizzolato, Zacharias Bonat. Also, the Olympic standards for this 81 kilo category, 168 snatch, 201 clean jerk. So again, I think the snatch we're only going to see beaten by Liu Xiaojun. But clean and jerk, again, there are 2, 3, 4 people probably capable of this. 5 really if you include guys like Harrison, who's clearly capable of it. 6 if you include Ritvasu Harev, who's also capable of it. But these guys just haven't totaled in the 360s yet. There are 3, they are sort of low 350 guys. And really, if you're going to medal in this category, you're going to have to be a mid 360 plus type of athlete. And to win gold, it's going to have to be over 370. Okay, it's time now to head to the lighter women's category, the women's 49. This is going to be such an exciting session. I can't wait. I love the fact that this is the opening session. The world records 96 snatch Hu Zihui, 119 clean and jerk Mirabai Chanu, and 213 total, again, Hu Zihui from China. So Hu Zihui's got the highest total by far and is clearly the runaway winner. We've got a 213 kilo total made up of a 96 snatch and a 117 clean and jerk. That was the world record. Then, next highest total from India, Chanu Mirabai, was 205, and she did that with an 86 119. And then the next highest is Jordan Dela Cruz with an 89 111. That was a 200 kilo total. What's exciting about all of these 3 weightlifters with these 3 best totals they've put forward is that they all did these in April, most recently. They are all peaked. They are all in the best shape that they've basically ever been in because their best totals only just happened. Now, that both makes it exciting, but also makes prediction easier. If they're at their peaks and they're all separated by a few kilos, the likely thing is that they're going to stay like that. Hu Zihui is going to take the win, Chanu Mirabai is going to take the silver medal, and Jordan Dela Cruz is going to take the bronze. I think that probably is what's going to happen. Having said that, I do think there is a chance that Jordan Dela Cruz can beat Mirabai Chanu from India. If it ends up that Jordan snatches well and Chanu Mirabai doesn't snatch particularly well, I mean, Jordan's actually got a better snatch, then it's certainly possible that with a big cleaner jerk, if Spencer Arnold says, look, you need 113 or you need 114 to guarantee a silver, I think that Jordan is capable of that, especially seeing as she used to be a 55 kilo weightlifter, so she has hit those kind of weights, in fact heavier than those kind of weights before. Not going to be easy considering that Chanu Mirabai is the world record holder in the clean and jerk, but if she gets a good run on her on the snatch, Jordan might be able to pip silver, but it's going to be gold for Hu Zihui. Now, very quickly, the Olympic standards to beat 89 snatch, 111 clean and jerk, which is Jordan's total, and a 198 total. So we're going to see both of those absolutely destroyed for sure. Over now to the women's 55 kilo category. The world records 102 Li Yajun, clean and jerk 129 Lao Chiyun, and total 227 Lao Chiyun, held by 2 Chinese weightlifters, only one of whom can go, and it's going to be Liao Chiyun, who has the heaviest total in this category of 227, made up of a 98 snatch, 129 clean and jerk, which was done in the second period. She's done 222 in the third period, which is still the heaviest, just not quite the same as the 227. Next highest we have is Heidelin Diaz from the Philippines, 214 total, made up of a 93 112. Next we have 2 athletes who've done 213. We have Muata Nabiyeva from Uzbekistan, who did that 213 with a 99 snatch and a 214 clean and jerk, which was actually a bit of an outlier in her competitions, which makes me feel a bit uneasy about picking her for a medal. Next, and again I feel uneasy about picking this athlete too, we have from Kazakhstan the once popped Zulfiya Chinshanlo, who did 213. She's done that twice once during period 1, once during period 2, and has done a 2:10 in period 3, so it is looking quite good. Next from Ukraine, there is Kamila Konotop, 2:12. She's done 96, 1:16. I like the look of Kamila because she's a junior weightlifter and she's improving fast. So let's go through some of these numbers. Liao Truyun is going to win. 2:27, there is nobody really who can touch her. And then I believe it is going to be between Heidelin Diaz and Kamila Konotop. Now, Heidelin Diaz is incredibly consistent. If we take a look, we can see that Heidelin has competed 6 times. She's gone 209, 203, 214, 212, 212, 211. Her last 4 competitions have been, well, they've got a 3 kilo spread since 2019 Worlds until now. That's almost 2 years, a 3 kilo spread. So I think it's pretty safe to bet that she's going to total between 210 and 215. Higher end of that should be enough to get a silver. The lower, I think, is probably a bronze. Then chasing her heels is Kamila Konotop from Ukraine. Now, though she's only done 212, which is 2 kilos shy of Heidelin Diaz, if we take a look at her performances, back when this qualification period started, she was totaling 177 kilos. She then improved, getting all in the 190s in the second qualifying period, 198, 96, 92, 96, and then broke out into the 200s in the third qualifying period. Because of her age, she's still young, she's still developing fast, she's lifting better and better. She's done 212, 208, 202, 196, which was actually a while ago. That was right at the start of 2020. So her most recent competition is 212. She's improving quickly, and she did that this was as a junior weightlifter. She did that 212. So look, here's the thing. I'm going to say that Heidelin Diaz might be the safe bet. I think I'm going to go for Liao Truyun gold, Kamila Konotop silver, Heidelin Diaz bronze. And then the Olympic standards in this category, 97, 121, 217. We certainly should see some of these lifts go, but it's not guaranteed. I mean, 97 is a heavy snatch. Liao Truyun could beat that, but it's not guaranteed. The 121, I imagine, will be beaten by Liao Truyun, however. And then the final category that I'm going to go through today, the women's 59s. Now, the number 1 weightlifter in the world on the women's side by Roby points is in this category. It's Kwo Sung-chun. She holds all of the world records. A contentious 110 snatch from the Asian Championships, the snatch that maybe should never have been. It was a little bit pressy. A 140 clean and jerk and a 247 kilo total for Kwo Sung-chun. So Kwo Sung-chun from Taiwan, Taipei, whatever you want to call it, has done 247. That was made up of a 110, 137. She's also a 4-time world champion. Has never won the Olympics, so this is her time. And also at her last 3 competitions, she's totaled over 245 kilos, which is a total that nobody else in that category can get, even within 20 kilos of. So Kwo Sung-chun's running away with this one. It's Kwo to the moon here. Next, however, we have with a 225 total, Ando Makiko from Japan. That 225 was a 97, 128. But she did do that in period 1, so that was a while ago at this point, over 2 years, closing on 3 since she's did that 225 kilo total. In period 3, she's only done 209, which has got me a little bit shook on that one. Next, we have Thi Duyen Huang, who is from, I want to say Vietnam, but I want to make sure. Yeah, Vietnam is where she is from. 223, and again, this was from period 1. That was a 103, 120, and again has been somewhat on the decline down to about 216 kilos in period 3. So again, I'm feeling a little bit unsure. Next, from Ecuador, we have Maria Escobar Guerrero, 220. She did 197, 123. That was in period 2. However, she has hit 216 kilos 3 times in period 3, which shows great consistency for probably a medal position. And then there's always Zoe Smith. It's always possible with Zoe. You just don't know what kind of shape she's going to be in. She's either going to be someone who comes in and goes 100, 125, 225 and sneaks a silver, or it's just not going to be there on the day. We just don't know. She has done, as a 59 kilo weightlifter, 216, made up of a 93 and a 123. And again, that was in period 2. So this is a tough category to work out, really. It's very much whoever goes 6 for 6 outside of Kwo Sung-chun will get the silver medal. Whoever goes 5 for 6 will get the bronze. And whoever goes 4 for 6 or less won't medal. So that's kind of the situation that we're in, and they're going to push each other to find out who's going to be the person who can make 6 for 6 and 5 for 6. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to call Kuo Seung-chun the gold medalist. I know that might be surprising to you all, but we'll go Kuo Seung-chun. And then I'm going to say Maria Escobar Guerrero from Ecuador for the silver, and Thi Dien Hoang from Vietnam for the bronze. I think Zoe Smith will beat Ando Makiko, but maybe come in somewhere around 4th or 5th in the total. Now, the Olympic records for this category, or the totals to beat, are... We're looking at 102 in the snatch. Well, Kuo Seung-chun is 8 kilos over that. We've got 127 in the clean and jerk and 229. So we're going to see records there for sure. The only thing that slightly concerns me or worries me, I just hate it when athletes are way out in the lead before they turn up like they're just the favourites. And because of that, they open stupidly heavy and then they end up bombing. We do see that occasionally. We saw it at the last Olympics with some of the women, and you hate to see it. So I just really hope Kuo comes in and she just says, you know what, I'm just going to hit 95. I'm just going to hit it. Then I'm going to do 125 moper in the clean and jerk, because that 230 is going to guarantee the win, I'm sure. Then after the 95, go 105, then go 111. Do what you got to do. Get those world records. That's fine, but just play it safe. Guys, those are my predictions for the first 7 categories. I'll do the next 7 next week. Don't forget, the new Weightlifting House Tokyo, Japan t-shirts are now available. There are pictures flying all around me right now, I imagine, or at least there's a picture for you to see this in better detail. It says, the strong shall be remembered, the weakest shall be forgotten. It's a really awesome t-shirt. I don't know how long we're going to keep it in stock for, but we'll see how long they last. Also, guys, head over to weightliftinghouse.com and you can get all of our country t-shirts now available. We have some cool discounts. I can't think quite how it works. It's either bulk order discounts or it's free shipping discounts. It's something like that. Head over to weightliftinghouse.com. The links are down below. Hugely appreciate you all tuning in, and I'll catch you all on another episode of the Weightlifting House YouTube.